reunited, and it feels so good. Me and Big O got back together. What is up, Finn fans? Yeah, it's been a hot minute since me and Big O did a show. I didn't mean to rhyme that, but a lot has happened post-draft, free agency, all that stuff. So we got together, talked about all that good stuff, and also we're still going to be doing this stuff. We talk about it in the video. I'll get to that. But real quick, before we jump into what me and Big O had to talk about, I have to shout out today's sponsor. And you've heard me talk about these guys before, Backroom Collections. Backroom Collections has some really, really fantastic artwork. They have artwork, t-shirts, mugs, all that good stuff. But I want to show you their artwork real quick. Let me just minimize myself and show you what they got going on artwork-wise. Look at this. You Heat fan, they got the Heat. Heat in the playoffs doing their thing. Vic's unit. Look at this defensive unit. Look at the artwork, their artistic creativity. You got Zach. I don't know why my computer did that. Zach Thomas. Great stuff. Hill and Waddle. The speed. Miami Marlins. Baseball fan, they got it too. Look at this. Autographed Hall of Fame plaque. Looks beautiful. Again, more Heat. More Heat. They're in the playoffs. Go check out backroomcollections.net. And if you use the promo code DDW, you get 10% off. Go check them out. Grab yourself some artwork. Again, not just Dolphins, but Heat, Marlins, Panthers. They got cups, t-shirts, all that good stuff. Go over backroomcollection.net. Link will be in the description. Use the promo code DDW. You got yourself 10% off. Now, without further ado, let's listen to what me and Big O have to talk about. Big O, Big O, Big O. It's been a minute, but we got some things to catch up on. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Just like I've told the Dolphin Nation, I'm excited about this Dolphin offseason. Get away from the past, dump all that stuff. We're headed for some really, really, really fun times here in Dolphin Nation. So I'm just going to enjoy this offseason, enjoy the process here of the draft and free agency, Zach getting into the Hall of Fame, training camp, watching Waddle and Tyreek going up against X and Jalen, that's going to be worth the price of no admission. So it's absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of things to look forward to a second year in the system. I think he's just going to take off. As I told some guy on Twitter yesterday, the problem with some of our folks in the Dolphin Nation is they're allowing the past to get in the way of the enjoyment of what's going on in the present. And what's going on in the present is a lot of fun. So embrace it. Stop living in the past. Enjoy what's going on right now. This is going to be a really good Dolphins team in 2023.
I love that tweet that you put. I retweeted it and everything. It was because I get it. I get where some fans are coming from, that they are kind of jaded because of the past. But like you said, man, this is different. You could just see and the way they're working, and Jalen Ramsey, Vic Fangio, they're bringing in the right people. It just enjoy it. Like you said, there's no point in sitting in the past and stuff, because you want to go past, let's go all the way back. Let's go 1972. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we want to keep going, just keep going. But I 100% agreed with you. It was such a good tweet.
I'm old, so I've been around a little bit. And if you go big picture, okay, this is the best QB you've had since Marino. This is the best head coach / offensive mind you've had since Shula. This is the best all-around team you've had in 28 years. Okay? Because this is better than any of the Marino teams under Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay? Because under Jimmy, they were incomplete especially on offense. God, they stripped everything from Marino there. This is the best front office the Dolphins have had in the last 35 years. It's the back end of Shula's run and into Jimmy and the rest of the mess that we've had after, because the back end of Shula came in the cap and he did not manage it well because it was a new monster to him. It's like I say to everybody, have you seen your grandfather, your grandmother handling a smartphone?
Mine doesn't have one.
No, that was Shula with the cap at that point. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Smartphone. What do I do here?
Mhm.
So it's, it is what it is, and that's where if you really look at it big picture, that's why I keep telling people, enjoy this, man. Enjoy this. This is allow yourself. I get it. You've been through hell. You can't trust the team. You've been failed many times. This that, but all the teams in the past never had this.
Mhm.
Never looked this complete. They never had a quarterback this good. So all the other, like this is why Dolphin fans used to get pissed at me, for 20 years, because you would tell me about the Ricky Williams teams, and I would say, yeah, it's fun, but it's nothing. You
Mhm.
would tell me about the Lamar Smith, yeah, it's fun, but it's nothing. And you tell me about the Wildcat, yeah, it's a gimmick. Oh
Yeah.
wow, fun. Oh, and none of this was gonna last. None of this was real. This is real, dude. You got a foundation of young players. You added some key free agents that have really rounded out this team.
Yeah.
You got a coach that understands this league, and you got a young quarterback that really can grasp the offense and make it excel and is deadly accurate. How can you not be excited?
Now, what's your thoughts? Because to me, there's only one spot on this team that's kind of worrying me. What's your thoughts on that right tackle spot? Are you okay with Austin Jackson, or you think they're going to add somebody else?
Oh, I know they're going to add somebody else, and I've been telling everybody that you can expect them to add a tackle. I know that some of you out there, you want Taylor Lewan because
Mm,
that's the name
yeah.
that's out there in Taylor Lewan, but Taylor Lewan only plays left tackle. He
Hmm.
doesn't really play right tackle.
Hmm.
Brandon Shell did a fabulous job,
Hmm.
but he only plays right tackle, doesn't excel at left tackle. Cameron Fleming is the guy
Yeah.
that I believe is going to be signed because he swings. He plays
Hmm.
left and right.
Hmm.
And so I think Cameron is the guy that's coming. Now, I think we're waiting for the Byron Jones June cut to
Hmm.
open up space, and then I think Cameron will get here and he'll sign his deal. That's probably what we're waiting for, unless they have enough that they can kind of make the deal happen right now. But if not, we're probably waiting till the June cut so they can open up the cap space, and then who knows, maybe the Wilkins deal also gets done or something along those lines. But I think it's going to be Cameron Fleming. But as I've told everybody out there, as much as Austin Jackson may not convince you,
Hmm.
and you should not be convinced,
Yeah.
as much as Liam Eichenberg has not convinced you, and you should not be convinced, okay? I can tell you they don't feel like that in that building.
Mm,
Okay?
yeah.
And they've told me, "Oh, you have no idea what you're talking about. They're getting better."
Mm,
They were convinced that Eichenberg was turning the corner right before he got injured.
mhm,
They are convinced he was turning the corner. And I will give Austin Jackson a little love. He was playing better in training camp in the preseason before the injury. And he's not an injury prone guy, but last year, unfortunately, that high ankle injury, he could never recover from it because those things are really easy to re-injure.
mm,
If you don't allow it to heal properly, anybody that's had a high ankle injury, the instability in that high part of the ankle is just brutal, dude.
yeah.
Brutal, because I've had it. I've had a high ankle sprain playing basketball, and that thing just takes forever. So I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and give them the benefit of the doubt. But
Mhm,
as I've told Dolphin fans, it doesn't matter what you and I think.
mhm,
Those people are not there. See, they're not jaded from the entire past of Eichenberg and Jackson. They only
mhm.
have 1 year with them.
Yeah.
And 1 year they saw progress from Austin, and then he got injured, and the injuries, and then for them, they thought that Eichenberg was turning the corner, picking up the understand. Because, for the life of me, that man can't pick up a stunt. Seriously, dude, I've seen Eichenberg like whiff on stunts. Like,
Yeah,
wow,
it's bad.
what
Yeah.
the hell is going on? It's like watching Charlie Brown kick the football. He just, taking it out, whip, and then that's Liam Eichenberg is the
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Brown of offensive guards. And so, it's frustrating too for me, right? But it's what I've been telling a lot of people because a lot of people don't have any goddamn insight on the team and they don't talk
Mm-hmm.
to anybody. So they don't know. But those people still believe in him.
Yeah.
And here's what some of you out there have a freaking hard time understanding. When they tell you they're committed to Tua, look at the actions. Don't keep thinking they're trading for Lamar Jackson and sending me DMs that they're trading him to Washington or to Baltimore or to the Colts, because I got all of those,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like the insiders told me that for sure we were signing the safety from Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it's like, and it's like they watch what they're doing. They were committed to Tua from the get-go. Forget about what happened over a year ago with the two idiot owners and with Flo. We know what they wanted. We know one idiot wanted Watson and the two other morons went after Brady. But that was never Greer. That was never Allen. That was never McKenzie. Those guys drafted Tua and wanted Tua. So they were never off the Tua bandwagon. The problem is they have to take orders from the owner. And then they've got a coach that they hired that went awry on them and wanted to get the personnel staff fired and wanted to get, Watson. So all those things changed. But once you got rid of the clutter, all those guys did was show you that they were committed to him. Okay, so what have they shown you about Eichenberg and Jackson? The entire offseason. They're committed to him.
Mm-hmm.
They bring nobody in to really take their jobs.
Nope.
They might bring in some competition like our man Cameron Fleming will be a competition for Austin Jackson. For Liam Eichenberg, they got Robert Jones there. That's how they figure things. They got a bunch of undrafted guys, and then they got the 7th round pick. So they brought some guys that are fringe guys to try to bring in and build some depth. But overall, they've told you that they were committed to him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's the same thing as the running backs. They keep shoving Dalvin Cook down our throats and down our throats and down our throats. And I keep telling everybody out there that'll listen to me, bro, they don't pay for running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give up high picks. The only reason they even spent a 3rd rounder, did you watch the press conference?
Mm-hmm.
You think McDaniel has a little bit of a man crush on the kid?
Oh, boy, yeah.
And by the way, they didn't have a 4th rounder or a 5th rounder, so it was either shit or get off the pot in the 3rd round, and they had to, they had to do it. So it was just one of those things that and plus he has a skill set.
Mm-hmm. He fits.
Yeah, that the mad scientist is going. I mean, think about this, Dolphin fans. Waddle, Hill, and Mostert and A-Chain coming out of the backfield. What's secondary staying with that?
Yeah, exactly.
None.
You don't have to put Tyreek Hill back there anymore.
None. You don't have to do it. No. How do you cover all 4 guys? There's no way you can cover that in the open field.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's have multiple people open. Okay, so and again, what have they shown you? You keep telling me Dalvin Cook, but dude, they re-signed Jeff Wilson. You keep telling me Dalvin Cook, but they brought back Mostert. But you keep telling me Dalvin Cook, but they brought back their 3rd back and their 4th back. Ahmed and Gaskins comes back. And you still think they're going to go trade for Dalvin Cook? And you still think they're going to pay for Dalvin Cook? If Dalvin Cook wants to come here after he's cut for $3 million, then I can see that low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
But when you've got to pay Wilkins and you got to pay Sealer, and then the following years, here comes Jalen, here comes Phillips and Waddle, okay, that you got to pay. You got to pay Holland. I mean, there's a lot of salaries coming up. Tua that you're going to have to pay. Robert Hunt that you're going to have to pay. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a game that they're playing. They actually hit on picks nowadays. They got to re-sign them. They got to re-sign these guys. And there's a lot of guys to re-sign if you really look at it. over the next 3 years, you're going to have to re-sign a whole bunch of guys that you've hit on in the draft. So it's first, just pay attention to what they're doing, and they tell you they're committed to Tua. Pay attention to what they're doing. They're committed to Eichenberg and Jackson. Pay attention to what they're doing. They're committed to their running backs. And one more thing on the whole Cook thing. He's an awesome player. Injury prone, but awesome player. Just one more thing. He hasn't played in this system.
That's true.
Neither did Chase. And he's not Dalvin Cook, but he was a good player in his own right. But, dude, the guy could not make the adjustment. What happens if Dalvin's a little off on this one? What happens if he doesn't make the transition? But you know that's not going to happen with Jeff Wilson and Mostert because they are seamless. So you got to also be careful with that because we've already watched them get bitten in the ass by that they thought, well, we run inside zone. He was an outside zone. Okay, he'll come in. He'll adjust. Well, no, it didn't adjust. You know?
And it's funny too because I'm very guilty of wanting to bring Dalvin Cook, but I always talk about, and you bring up a very good point. I always talk about, and I always bring up, yes, I want Dalvin Cook, but at the right price. I'm not trading. There's no point in trading for him right now. There's no point. And if we can get him,
he's not trading. Chris Greer. Okay, I'll give you a 7th rounder,
exactly.
and Dalvin, you need to agree to a 70% salary cut. And yeah, we'll do it. That's the only way he's going to do it is low-hanging fruit. And I doubt that Dalvin Cook, who's been very injury-prone, is going to want to take a really cheap contract wherever he goes. He's going to want to get paid. He's going to want to get back his $10 million or 7 or 8 of it. And the Dolphins are not paying for that. And by the way, then all of a sudden you bring Dalvin Cook in, and now you got to make people happy because now you don't know if there's enough porridge for all the Bears. So there, somebody's going to be unhappy because there isn't enough porridge. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you got the main 2 guys that are happy with their 1-2 punch, and then the rookie will find his way and figure his way out in A-Chain. It's a more palatable situation. You bring in Cook now, oh my God, you really crowd the thing up. And by the way, they're not about bell cows. So it's not about signing, well, no, we'll sign Cook, and he'll get all the carries. No, of course, because that's what he likes to do. Yes. Let's also change the way the man coaches. Come on, man. Watch what's going on, and it tells you what's going on. Okay, look at it. They were committed to Tua. They're committed to their offensive linemen, and they're committed to their running backs. Follow it, dude. Tells you everything you need to know.
It's going to be very... I think once June 1st comes, that's like you said, that's when they'll probably start wheeling and dealing a little bit more because 13.6 million. I think they're sitting at about 2. So they'll have about 15.6 million. So like you said, I think once June 1st comes, that's their second little stint of, okay, let's start. Because they'll also have OTAs. OTAs start on the 22nd. So they'll have OTAs for about, I think they have about 5 sessions before June 1st starts. They'll get an idea. Okay, let's bring Cameron Fleming in. If we need anything else, we can bring in, because they have the money. But
I still think another tight end's coming too.
Like there's some guys out there,
bro. June 1st cuts. Something's out there on a team somewhere. Something. I still think, because the other thing I've been talking about on my show, the mad scientist not only added more speed to the backfield, the mad scientist is creating a new position that he wants on his team. And so this is why I think there might be one more tight end, because you have Salbert and you have what's his Smythe. So you have your blocking tight ends in Smythe and Salbert. And then you look over and you have Tanner Connor, the experiment from last year. And then we got Higgy with it. Draft. And so getting Higgy with it, guys in the NFL already told me he's not a blocker. He's an offline tight end. By the way, I saw that interview with him and T.O. He's got a shit ton of maturity on him. He's got swag. He's got confidence. He's intelligent. Well, he went to Stanford. They actually have books there. So he's got Come on, let's be honest. They actually hit the books in Stanford. But anyway, I think this dude wants to create an offline tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got two guys with wicked speed because Tanner Connor's even faster than this kid.
Yeah.
Okay. This kid actually moves very well.
Mm-hmm.
He's more polished than Tanner Connor. And I think that that's what they saw from last year with Tanner, that Tanner was so green still that he had to kind of adjust to everything still. Whereas this kid is already a wicked route runner and already understands defenses and offenses. So mentally, he's at another level than Tanner Connor, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my assessment, this part of it. I think IQ wise, football wise, I think this kid is way ahead of Tanner Connor. Tanner Connor has some physical abilities. He runs like the wind. And if you see him up close, like we saw him last year for a brief stint in training camp, that mother flies, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's trying to create another position where you're going to, okay, well, I'm not going to be super dynamic from my blocking tight end. All right, I'm going to have an offline tight end that I'm going to be super dynamic from. Now, here's also, this is all me here. I think it's an experiment. Okay? Because neither guy may make the roster.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them only ends up on the practice squad. So this is an experiment that they invested a non-draft pick last year and a draft pick this year in it. And now we're going to see, because since he hasn't found the Kittle, right? You don't have one on the roster. So now I've got to kind of play with it where, okay, well, maybe I won't have the depth at the blocking tight end that I normally have. I'll have one less guy so I can then try to play with this position so I can add some dynamic speed guy with size here. And if you look at the kid from Stanford, he is a beast at working the middle of the field. Okay. Yeah. What did they try to crowd to slow down the offense? Middle of the field, right? So, these are the kind of things that you're going to do. So he also acknowledged that he didn't run the ball enough, right? Remember? And
he apologized to Mostert.
He apologized to Mostert. He talked to us in a press conference and said and admitted that he shouldn't run. He should have run more. Guess what's going to free up the middle of the field? Running more, because the linebackers can't be on their heels. They've got to be on their toes going forward, trying to stop the run. So you all of a sudden start to run the ball a little bit more. You bring in those linebackers. You start to use a tight end that's going to push the middle of the field. All of a sudden, your free safety is a little bit more, tied up, or strong safety may end up being tied up. Then that frees it all for Waddle and Hill to do all their things. So that at least, again, just me thinking, these are the things that are kind of brewing with him. That's why I think there's one more move for some kind of a tight end that might be available on somebody's roster right now that might be cut June 1st or training camp, the guy doesn't make it through training camp, or maybe there's a trade out there to be had. I'm not exactly sure, but I would not be surprised if there's at least one more tight end because of the diversity that he has in those tight ends, when we all know he'd like to marry them with one guy that does it all.
And we saw it, the rumors from last year, trying to go after Darren Waller, and that fell through, and then he got eventually, traded to the Giants. If there's, like I said, I've said this, if there's smoke, there's fire, and they've already tried. They already tried to do that. And you hit the nail on the head when it comes to opening the middle of the field. And I think that's why he probably, in some instances, was kicking himself, because play action will open up the middle of the field. You fake that ball off, also, and those linebackers are going to step up, especially if they think it's a run. You got Tyreek, you got Waddle, you got whoever running behind those linebackers. And we've seen Tua be able to put it out of the reach of these linebackers constantly, over and over again. People like to call it spot throwing. It's called accuracy. So
in the early 90s, Dolphin fans didn't get any sleep because of a guy named Thurman Thomas. So that's, when you can run the ball, and then you've got, Andre Reed hitting you over the top and all that other crap, that's a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah.
And McDaniel did not make his offense enough of a juggernaut because he didn't run the ball, because he made it even harder for Tua, because he made it easier for them to decipher what you were doing. Oh, they're pass happy, pass happy, pass happy.
Just drop back.
And I think, yeah, and what's this guy's name that he does a marvelous job? He's on Twitter, and really smart guy. Sharp Football.
Oh
He
yeah, I
came
love him.
graph at the end of the year showed where Tua's per pass average was at a ridiculous rate compared to the entire league, and it was because he McDaniel had him throwing at a higher percentage, riskier passes than everybody else at the same time. When you really got to keep it simple, stupid. It's all about KISS. Hand off that ball, suck that run in, tire out those D linemen, and then hit them right over the top, dude. And Tua will be even more dangerous this year because McDaniel knows what he did wrong, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I talked about that. We need a good combination of 2021 Tua and 2022 Tua, because you got the check down Tua in 2021, and now we got the 2022 push the ball down the field to. If you can meld those two together, that's your perfect quarterback right there. He's going to take the check down.
But you got to run. You got to run, bro.
Yeah.
Run. That's to me. That's the key to everything. Run the ball. And by the way, less hits for Tua. Stays fresher. Offensive linemen will love you even more. Offensive linemen love to run because they're delivering the punishment. When you're pass protecting, you're receiving all the punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
And so actually, linemen hate pass pro. They love run pro because that's exactly when they get to actually run, beat people up and lay their bodies on them. Pass pro, they're just taking all the punishment, so it's brutal for them.
Last thing I'm going to ask you, our first pick, second round, Cam Smith. What's your thoughts on him?
Well, NFL people tell me he's a fantastic talent. He loves football. He's immature.
That's what I hear.
He needs to grow up a little bit. Even one of my guys called him a nut. But they all love him. He's a late first round talent, is what he is. Miami got him in the second, but he's overall a late first round talent. He fell to the second because of his lack of maturity. The last time I told somebody about a cornerback taken really high that was immature, his name was Vontae Davis. Okay. I got 2,000 people at Dolphin Stadium booing me. Got the Dolphin brass looking at me sideways.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what do you want me to do? I'm paid to do this. You know what I mean? I'm not
exactly. You're gonna be honest.
Put on the pom-poms and all that. And I told everybody Vontae Davis can play, but he has maturity issues. How did it turn out?
He quit in the middle of a game.
How did it turn out? Can he play?
He play? He could play.
Is he immature?
100% immature.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're so negative. Well, no, I'm not negative. I'm just trying to get you the information. Apologies.
You got to rip that Band-Aid off.
I love the Ohio State tackle. He's falling in the draft. I saw him up close at the Senior Bowl. He's a mammoth human being. I'm thinking, my God, this guy falls late in the first round, second to the second. Maybe that's a guy you take. And then I'm seeing falling. I get on the phone. They tell me he doesn't love football.
Oh.
And then this Dov Kleiman guy comes, he does a good job. And he comes out with some report that apparently DeJuan Jones told one of the NFL teams that he always was dreaming of being an NBA star, not an NFL star.
Does he have the frame to be an NBA star?
He was a former basketball player.
Oh.
He has the feet. That's why I like him.
Yeah.
Because he's a big dude that can move. He's a mountain that moves. Yeah. A mountain that moves.
People had him going in the late first.
Yeah. But then I found out he doesn't love football. So that scares the shit out of teams. So that's what I was explaining to Dolphin fans in our draft show, that the dynamics of Cam Smith and DeJuan Jones are amazing. People will take a chance on Cam a little bit more, even though he's a little more mature. Why? Because he needs football. He loves football. He eats and breathes football. You will never, ever see a guy that wants to be lazy or anything like that. and he's not a bad dude. It's just little immaturity things. By the way, Vontae Davis is not a bad dude either. It was just like immaturity things, and it is what it is. And some guy, we all go through it in every stage of our lives. At one point, we grow out of it. So, Cam hopefully will grow out of it, but his talent is undeniable. Okay. And by the way, remember, this draft was an A+ draft.
Yeah. Well, I give it a B+.
Okay?
But yeah,
no, it's an A+. Chubb in the first round. Cam Smith
yeah.
Jalen Ramsey in the third. Devon Achane in the third. Tyreek Hill in the fourth. Jeff Wilson Jr. in the fifth. Let's get Higgy with it in the sixth, and Ryan Hayes in the seventh. That's what they did with their 8 draft picks outside of the moronic owners that took away a first and a third. But if you tell me this is what you're going to do with 8 draft picks, that's productive as hell. Okay, so that's A+. Big picture. Let's go macro. Don't look at things micro. Micro doesn't tell you the whole story. 4 picks don't tell you the whole story. They had a whole bunch of others. What did they do? They set up their team last year and this year and for the future with those picks. If the Rams are given credit to trade some of their free agents to get to a Super Bowl, well, you better damn well give the Miami Dolphins credit for turning a 3rd-round pick into Jalen freaking Ramsey, dude.
I will say this about Cam Smith, because I heard the same thing. I heard fantastic player. I like his height. I like his speed. I like all that stuff. I heard about him being immature. And then I instantly thought, well, he's got Jalen Ramsey and X who are going to keep him in line. And then I was like, his head coach.
Holland's like a 10-year veteran, bro.
And we have essentially 2 head coaches. We have Mike McDaniel and we have Vic Fangio. And Vic Fangio is not going to let him be immature.
And Teron Armstead will come by. Hey, youngster, how you doing? You doing good? And then, it's like
Tyreek Hill. We got some guys.
It's a good locker room.
And Mike McDaniel put that locker room together. He knew what he
By the way, he's not a bad guy.
No.
Let's get this straight, okay? Yeah. He's not a bad guy, immature. He's he's got to grow up a little bit more. That's all it is.
He's young.
Responsibility type of thing. That's all. Not a big deal.
Exactly.
Not a criminal, not a delinquent, not an abuser, not a drug addict. None of that shit, dude. Thank God it's none of that shit. It's the kind of stuff that most of us grow out of, and that's all it is. It's not a big deal, but he loves football.
It's funny that you brought up DeJuan James too, because everyone was watching him fall. Now we know why. And it was the same thing with Darnell Washington, because all of a sudden he kept going.
Right.
And
well, that's the injury.
It was the medicals. Yeah, it was the swollen knee. It was all that stuff. So there's a lot behind.
And I some of my guys, I was pissed because I like Washington. I'm like, bro, why aren't you telling me more about this? He goes, there's HIPAA, bro. Some of us are we're afraid of that kind of shit. And I go, you know what, guys? I get it, man. I get it. It's understandable.
Big O, what do you got going on? You got
every day, 10 a.m. live on YouTube. We are a live show every day, 10 a.m. on YouTube. Please subscribe. Go search Big O Radio Show. We are, I would say, one of the few shows that could really give you real insight on the Dolphins that are going on. Like real insight, not like some of these fake things that are out there. You guys sending me all the time. And then I have to shoot out all these fake rumors. So, we're on, and we've got a whole bunch of Dolphin insiders that are on the beat writers that are locked in. Go to Big O Radio Show. Please subscribe. Help us grow, and grow. We'll be at Zach Thomas's induction, too. We'll be there live to cover that, too. So we'll have some fun with that this offseason.
Go subscribe. We got the Panthers doing well. We got the Heat doing well. Big O covers all South Florida sports. Go over, subscribe, show them love. Big O. We'll do this again. Obviously, we do our weekly during the regular season. I say maybe after OTAs, we'll get back together.
Let's do it.
OTA review, and then we'll do a training camp. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
You got it, baby.
Think about the now. Think about the now.
Yeah, man. Stay in the now. This is a lot of fun. You're going to, when they're deep into the playoffs or the Super Bowl next year, you're going to kind of look into it and go, man, I didn't enjoy myself during the off season. Enjoy the hell out of this, man. This
Yep.
is a process that we're headed finally in the right direction. I
Yep.
really feel that way.
All right, Big O. I'll talk to you later, man.
Fins up.